also in the 21st century, we have people diving into Bitcoin as a form of payment. So New York City Mayor-elect Eric Adams has announced that he plans to take his first 3 paychecks in Bitcoin. He's due to become the mayor of New York City, taking office at the start of next year. And sort of in this, what kind of seemed like this competitive atmosphere between him and the mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez, who also said he will, take his first paycheck in Bitcoin. Oh, not his first one, sorry. He will be taking a paycheck in Bitcoin. And now, New York City's Eric Adams has stepped that up a notch. Just says, well, I'm going to take 3. So it's kind of interesting to see this stuff play out and start to get more popular. I'll throw to you first, Adam. What's your take on all of this?
I love this, honestly. Again, there was so long where this was just this weird thing that people who cared about kind of how money works cared about. And now it has nothing to do with that. You can guess that Eric Adams isn't doing it because that's what his priority is. It's just good PR, right? It's just, and again, much of the case that he's made, we joked on a past episode about how he wanted to be sort of the mayor of the Bitcoins. But it's kind of the same thing, right? It's Bitcoin has actually become a kind of zeitgeisty topic just by nature of the times that we're in and the sharp contrast that sort of Bitcoin presents to it. So I think it's great. I think it's a trend we'll continue to see, especially in these kind of larger marketplaces, where it will become increasingly competitive for these companies, for these locations that want to attract these companies to then contribute to their tax base. There's so much money to be made by these localities that it just can't not happen. And that's not even to get into, again, just how trendy this thing is becoming. Now, if the market's reversed, we could see that go away real quick. These aren't the types of people who are here for ideology. But at the same time, I'll take it however I can get it right now, right? What do you think, David?
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing to point out is, on the one hand, this is definitely a symbolic move. Obviously, you can now sell your Bitcoin in 2 seconds. It doesn't really matter. However, I do think it's worth pointing out that Eric Adams is not like Michael Bloomberg, for example. He's not a person who is truly independently wealthy. He's a former police officer. He owns a couple properties in the city. And I'm sure he's doing just fine. But he's not somebody for whom his paycheck is irrelevant. So the fact that he's taking it in Bitcoin really does represent at least some tiny little degree of personal risk that he's taking. So that's worth pointing out. And I do have to say, though, as a New Yorker myself, the idea that he's doing this in response to something done by the mayor of Miami feels how do I put this? Miami is a great city, but I don't necessarily think that should be who we're trying to compete with here in New York. I'll just put it that way and leave it at that.
Well,
Naomi, you had something to throw in.
Yeah, because New York is the worst place in the world for crypto right now. So maybe they could take a few leaves out of Miami's book in terms of encouraging businesses to go there and what it takes to encourage a business to move there. Because honestly, the BIT license, it created a mass exodus of crypto companies when it was instituted. And included in Eric Adams' tweet, he says, New York is going to be the center of the cryptocurrency industry and other fast-growing innovative industries. Just wait. And the only thing that could possibly make that remotely possible is him getting rid of the BIT license, which has just been this bane of everyone, every crypto company in New York's existence. It kind of became the joke of the crypto movement as this very cronyist movement where Ben Lawsky put this thing into place and then immediately just went onto the board of Ripple, who became one of, a handful of companies over many, many years to even receive one of these BIT licenses. So it's a typical story of a politician coming in, putting in this very cumbersome, difficult regulation to navigate, and then being put on the board of one of these companies to help them navigate it, setting up his future job. And so it's definitely going to be a difficult thing to deconstruct. And now that you have people who've gone through the arduous process of getting a BIT license, they're not going to want the government to just take it away. So you're probably going to get a lot of lobbying money, saying, actually keep it in place because we've got one now. So we're good. So it's this very corrupt system that he's going to have to deal with. I'm excited if he does make some headway there because New York was destined to become one of the best places in the world for crypto until the BIT license came in. So if that could be reversed, I think that would be amazing for New York City. So, Eric Adams, you have my best wishes, and I'm watching hopefully, but I'm not holding my breath.